to Hampton Roads. My name is David Tortellini, and I'm back today with your November 2024 market report. The election is over, the Fed just lowered the prime interest rate again, and it looks like inflation is back in the low to mid twos. We'll talk about these larger events and how they'll impact the market moving forward, and we'll take a look at our local numbers as we head into the holidays. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. Okay, let's get to it. Let's start with a quick breakdown of the Hampton Roads real estate market numbers for October 2024. Starting this month, the stats are all going to be very interesting because when we look at these numbers, we're often comparing them to the same month of the previous year. Well, October 2023 was the start of pretty much the slowest 5-month stretch we've seen since the housing crash bottomed out over a decade ago. But when we compare these numbers to the last few months, I think we'll see a different picture. Starting with the current inventory, which is the number of homes that are actively for sale throughout Hampton Roads, we're sitting at 4,765. That's more than 20% higher than 1 year ago. That might make you think that homes aren't moving and it's a cause for concern, but you have to remember where we started. At one point, homes on the market was just around 2,000. There's been a steady increase ever since as we inch closer and closer to a balanced market. I've maintained that an ideal number of homes on market is in the 5,000 to 6,000 range. This gives options for buyers while still allowing sellers to mostly sell for what they're asking and not linger on market more than 30 days or so. It's a win-win for everyone. We're just about there, and we'll see that as we look at our remaining stats. Similar to housing inventory, we also saw a 20% gain in home sales year over year, with 2,115 in the month of October of this year compared to 1,872 last year. That's a nice gain considering in September we only saw 1,932 sales, and in most years, September has more closings than October. This could be a function of the interest rate dip we saw a couple months ago. Some people jumped in and moved on something really fast before they went back up, which of course they did. Sales peaked in the late spring at around 2,500, so definitely down quite a bit compared to then, but still pretty strong for an October. Pending sales look strong heading into November, so hopefully this trend continues through the fall and winter, and we don't have a repeat of last winter's terrible market. With this rising inventory, but fairly strong sales numbers, we do still see two very telling numbers about how the overall market is doing. Median days on market right now is 23, and the average sale price is 99.4% of the list price. That means most homes are still selling fairly quickly, and sellers are getting what they're asking for. Of course, whenever you have an average like that, it usually means the best houses are getting bid up, while others that aren't as desirable or are overpriced are selling for below list price. But overall, we're essentially right at asking price here in Hampton Roads. Please don't let the national media fool you into thinking people are consistently selling for way below asking, because while that might be true in other markets, it's not really the case here. That's led to a median sales price of $354,000, which is around where prices have been hovering the last 6 months or so. $345,000 to $355,000 has been the norm for the back half of the year. So prices are, for the most part, holding pretty steady. And I think that needs to be your big takeaway from this month's market update. The market is steady. Inventory is creeping up slowly, but sales are still happening at a relatively steady pace. We have 2.6 months of supply, which means if no new homes hit the market, we'd clear out that inventory in that amount of time. That still, technically, leaves us in a seller's market. There are going to be exceptions to that. Like recently, I somehow managed to squeeze $25,000 in closing cost concessions out of a deal for my buyer. But that was a very unique situation. If you're selling, you can't be crazy with your pricing. We'll focus on making your house look great and list at a price that makes sense. If you do, you'll still sell within a couple of weeks. The market is strong enough to tell us if we missed on pricing. Don't let your house linger on market. And don't price with the plan to negotiate down. That always backfires and you'll give up more than you ever intended. Okay, so that's what's going on here in Hampton Roads. On a national level, we just had a presidential election, of course, and regardless of your thoughts on the outcome, what we know is that historically, presidential elections don't have much influence on the housing market. That's not to say that policies that get enacted over the course of the new president's first year don't have an impact, but it usually takes time for those policies to be put in place and to work their way through the economy. In this particular case, what we've seen in the market are yields on government bonds like 10-year treasuries go much higher, which, if this keeps up, will most likely keep interest rates high for the foreseeable future. Because those yields are closely tied to mortgage rates, that means we won't see a flood of new buyers like we had started to anticipate when rates fell temporarily in the early fall. And everyone waiting to refinance will have to wait a little bit longer. Then, just a couple days after the election, the Fed made another quarter-point rate cut, which is probably not enough to move the needle, but could help hedge against those rising bond yields a little bit. We'll have to see how it all plays out over the next few weeks. But with interest rates in the 6 to 7% range, we most likely won't see any sort of major shift in the market anytime soon. So anyone not making a move thinking the market was going to crash or take off based on the election results was probably sitting on the sidelines for no reason. It looks like we're going to have a whole lot more of the same. That's this month's market update. Would love for you to comment below where you think rates and the market are going in 2025. What policies in the new administration do you think will have the biggest impact on the market moving forward? Of course, if you are buying or selling a home here in Hampton Roads, please don't hesitate to call, text, or email me anytime. I would love to help you out. In the meantime, don't forget to like this video, share it with anyone you know, and subscribe to this channel. Again, my name is David Tortellini. I'm with eXp Realty. Thank you so much for watching.